I'm reading from Shabbat.org. No one is here because everyone else is here. No system can function from the top down alone. Because each of us and everything that was created has a spark of the divine, so that each of us is all of us. In perfect agreement with what was stated by Shabbat.org. Me, myself, is all of us. But then the question he didn't make it clear was that whether I am and there's no one besides me. I wonder whether he's saying that or not. I believe that all of me is God. It's just one life. And because of that, I have the responsibility to ensure that there's no idol in front of me. Because if there's an idol in front, I'm violating the very principle that I am, and there's none beside me. And every one of us is also of God. And everyone has to say, I am that I am, and there's none besides me. And although it apparently appears that I'm talking to each one, and they're talking to me, yet relative to them, I'm the idol. They're not necessarily the idol if I could see them via my thought. They must be part of my thought, and they must not be independent of my thought. The point is that all of us exist in our thought. That's correct. All of us exist in God's observation. It doesn't exist out there. Because if it existed out there, God would not be the singular one. So it could not have existed out there. So every one of us exists only in God's mind. And that's the reason why when I look at the other party, I have to see them through God's mind. And that's why when I feel frustrated that somebody hurts me, it's not a fair hurting. Why? It's not worthy of my part to actually quarrel and bang on that guy. Because I don't really exist. I only exist in God's mind. So, if I want to really understand myself, I have to look at myself through God's mind. But of course it doesn't exist, but when I look at through God's mind, what I perceive is the true one I, the one life only, and the uni I, that's all. And we share that uni life, and share that uni I. And we hold on to this uni I with a self. And that self is only God's idea of me. Therefore, if I look at myself through my thinking process, that means through the thinking of God's mind. As I look at myself, I don't see a self. That's very true. Something deeper, but not exactly self. Whereas if I were to look without the thinking of God and just see myself, I feel that I'm there. And I feel that that guy is also there. And the reason is because we're looking at ourselves as an idol. But if I'm looking at myself through God's mind, that means to say I'm thinking of the thinking of me, then I find that there isn't really much of me. And which is the truth. Which is the truth. That explains why it's so difficult to think of the thinking of me. Because it somewhat negates me altogether. But that's the truth. All that is me is God. And nothing else. And yet, I prefer And every one of mankind prefers to see themselves as existing. We enjoy that state of existing. Are we really enjoying? Because I know that the I am is jealous, is unhappy that we are using his mind to see ourselves as existing. We're doing something wrong. Because there is no one other than the I am. We have to see life through the I am. And God allows us to see ourselves like we are seeing, but then we have to see it through God's mind and not as really existing at all. All these years it's been kept hidden from me. I was told that I exist, but when I now realize I don't really exist at all. It's all God's mind thinking of me. Yan Gan is correct. The only problem is that they don't want to recognize there's an I am presence, which is truly I. And that is our purpose and our job, to present that I am present when we walk in this world. After all, why did we come into this world for? We came as proxies of the I am. We came to work for I am. And what is that working process? That we declare I in this world. But yet at the same time, when we declare the I, we declare not this I, but the I of God. But interestingly, the I of God has no space, no time. How do we look at him? Cannot. That declaration can only exist within the body itself. It's in our consciousness, that's all. Because we cannot see, it must only be from us in the first person. Not only that we cannot see, we cannot even think of God. Because if we think of God, we create a space for him. We can only think of me, okay, but if I think of me, then I'm making the one jealous. I think of me through the mind of God, okay, that's fine. And the I am, I have to present as first person, without a thought. Gosh. That is why I should move about in this world as uni-I, meaning that I should not emphasize myself. I should not claim a character. I should allow other people to do whatever they like. They claim themselves, they buy a house, they claim everything they want, but I don't have to. I don't have to. I inherit whatever they claim. But as for me, it's just uni-I, uni-life, meaning that I just look at them without an idea of me. If the idea of me is there, it has to be from the mind of God. So in other words, I have to be 24 hours thinking of the thinking and see the world. I think that's the only way. That's right. I should see the world by thinking of the thinking of the world. That's the only way. Because by doing that, when I see myself in the world, I would not violate the jealousy of God. And if I think of the thinking of this world, then I'll be acting as God, because my thoughts will be like God's mind. So where is this? This will be the uni-I, the uni-life. Before I close this video, I just want to emphasize that this idea that there is no one existing is very similar to the Buddhist idea, no doubt. But the fact is that it is a thought of God. The thought of God out there, and the thought of God is here. So although it is such that we don't exist, but the reality is that there is an observer who has created this reality. But would I be right to say that there is nothing there? No. Unilife, unispace is a true existence. So it's not that there's nothing there, but God's mind I'm looking at. It's God's observation of me, but I'm not there. That guy is not there, but we cannot really say that it's not there because the mind of God is seeing it, and the mind of God who sees it, who wills to see it, is true in the sense that God himself is the true one, unispace, unilife. So in other words, while I fully accept the world as it is, and George Chung would do that, but George Chung would do it in a way such as to say that he's accepting it because people accept it. Because people see it as thoughts, but thoughts is an illusion. But I'm accepting everything as it is, not because it's a pure illusion, but rather it's because it is the mind of God. But can there be a mind of God if God is unispace and unilife? That is the very reason why man came to the universe, to be the mind of God. We are the one with space-time to present, to express God. And although God is unthinkable, but we are required to express it in body form in the duplex world. And that is why we must have a body. Wherever we are in our reincarnated self, there is a body taking a space for the I. But yet the I is zero, but yet there's a space where the I is declared in space-time. It is this irony that makes it so difficult for man to reach God. We are in a state of irony. We are actually God's mind, and God needs that mind, and that mind is placed as a human body. And forever there will be a body, whatever form it takes, because that's the mind of God shown into the universe. But this mind of God has got space-time, necessarily has got to. Without that space-time, there can be no expression. Whether it's in the promised land or not, there is a slight space-time. Right? So this space-time ensures that there's a tree, there's a fruit, and there's a life, so-called life that prolongs across time. So many a times I would say that God is unthinkable. That's correct. The presence is unthinkable. That's correct. But we are here as the thinking part of God. Gosh, this is how ironical the whole situation is. So let's close it now. The fact is that forever there is a body. And that's why forever there is a space-time. Forever I'm an individual apart from God. But yet this individual forever doesn't really exist because it's the I am expressed through me. So what does that mean? It means that this individual has to observe his own thought. For only through observation of his own thought and observing of the world, this individual realizes that he's not exactly there but just a thought of God, and that he can exercise I am within the two thoughts, the observer of the thought and the thought.